There are over 3 million active podcasts right now. Over 3 million. And the idea that somebody has just clicked on this and they're like, okay, I want to listen to this trailer about what these episodes are about. Why is there another podcast being created? It was really important to my co-host Andrew and myself. I'm Charlie. Hi. To explain like why we're doing this. And the truth is, it was just born out of an incredible dinner that we had when you were visiting from Nashville and Los Angeles, where I've lived for a couple years, and we had this unbelievable experience because of the conversation, because of the chemistry, and the sense of curiosity. And that's the word, is curiosity. And you were like, how do we keep doing something like this? And you mentioned the idea of a podcast, and I was like, no, there's enough podcasts out there, because I immediately did the thing of like, well, we would need listeners, and then we would need to get sponsors and had advertisements, and it's going to take all this work, and it's probably not going to succeed, and just all that internal noise just slowing everything down. I don't know. I got back to you, Andrew, like 2 months later. Like that's how slowed my brain got by the idea. And something clicked when I realized, hey, we live in a new world where the things we do now for fun, we might be able to share that with our friends, our family for years to come. We can create a legacy of having conversations that feel meaningful and satisfying just to have them, and worry less about the perception of other people and how it will be validated in its success. So that is why I said yes to you. That's why I started doing this. We've recorded over 10, and you're like, hey, maybe we should do a first episode when somebody right now is listening to the first 2 minutes and deciding, all right, yeah, I'll keep this on. So I'm Charlie. I am having a blast doing this. If you're listening to this, to give you an idea of who I am, is I've been an entrepreneur. I've been a CEO of a small family business that I had taken over from my parents. I've lived in Florida, New York, Atlanta, now in LA. And as all those things would be on a bio of successful startups and different things and teaching and all that, what I really care about people knowing about me is that I like creating things. I love human connection. I love the sense of getting to know people and seeing where a conversation can go. And that's what I'm really passionate about. And I think that that's what's cool about this project that we've been doing, Thumbtrotting, which what the hell does that mean? Which is the greatest segue ever to say, Andrew, how do we land on this phrase, thumbtrotting?
Yeah, I think a lot of it comes down to when we're having conversations and we're talking with people, right? A lot of the times we don't know where that's going to go. We don't know how we're going to get to that point of the conversation, but we sort of somehow always seem to find a way. And I think that kind of resonates with me and sort of my maybe romantic view of what hitchhiking could be, less stalker, weird murder vibe and more just the, experience the journey, not really know what's going to happen and just kind of see where it takes you. And I think that speaks very true to what we've done in the first 8 episodes that we've recorded. And, it speaks true to why we started this, which again was to have that conversation. How do you connect with people? How do you carry on in a world that doesn't allow that sometimes? And that's what's been very fun and very exciting. And that's why I think, well, we're doing this and the way that we're doing it is a lot of fun. And the fact that Charlie and I are aligned in everything that we're doing, and having that conduit at that table, that ability to have the conversation has just been so much fun. And I think that's why the yes came. When we talked, it was a slow yes.
Took my time,
but the yes came, and it came for the right reasons. And I think you and I are aligned that the process is the product, and that's why we're doing it. It's for the conversation.
So tell me though, for people that are just sitting here deciding whether or not they want to listen more, how do you think people would see you professionally, right, on paper versus what you want people to really know about you?
Yeah, so my background's 100% in hospitality. I've only ever had one job outside of the hospitality world in my entire career. So, culinary school in Atlanta when I was 19 years old, and then from there, worked in Atlanta, moved back to Nashville, worked in restaurants all over Nashville, opening restaurants, food trucks, consulting, doing a bunch of stuff in that space, and then eventually taking over a large restaurant group as a culinary director. But my passion for that, food has always been to me one of the greatest connectors, and it's awesome opportunity to tell a story through a medium that most people don't look at when it comes to storytelling. And that's why I fell in love with it. It was, how do I take care of people through food? How do I express who I am in a creative way through something, in that vein, in a culinary lens, and then, keeping that passion alive and what that looks like. So, yeah, it's just cooking. And, through that lens, I've lived in, New York City, and lived in California. I've lived in Texas. I've lived in Atlanta. Now I live in Tennessee. And, yeah, all of that shaped who I am today, and why I think you and I are, in this project together. And it's incredibly fulfilling and incredibly rewarding to have the conversations that we've been able to have.
You know what? I agree. It's been the best, man. It's been so much fun. I say this on one of our podcasts, but I explain how my way to high achievement in my life, when I've had some incredible moments professionally, was through anxiety, right? Like, anxiety was this engine that kind of pushed me to achieve so much. And I've really done a lot of work to realize it doesn't have to be. There can be fun and adventure and thrill and excitement, which are similar, but don't have to bring this kind of unsustainable, crushing feeling. Oh
Yeah.
God, we have to do a podcast, and I hope it's perfect, and I hope I say the right thing. And every time we've recorded, all that's kind of left, and it's been like, no, let's just have a great conversation. And to that end, I would want to just take, I don't know, 90 seconds, help me out here. We talked to someone that you brought on that worked as a busboy at Carrabba's at 14, and ended up making it almost all the way to the top, or to the top of Carrabba's, and it is now doing all types of crazy things in hospitality. We talked to two sisters who have just been killing it in this movement to say, hey, we're not anti-alcohol, but we are saying yes to the idea that there are a lot of other ways, a lot of other types of drinks that you can enjoy that are nuanced, that have flavor, that have depth. And they've started this like zero proof company together. And it was an incredible conversation. We've had people that have wanted to talk about wellness and all different types of ways. I mean, throw in one or two of your memories of who we've talked to, so people can just get a taste. Jana's.
What the hell talking about Jana's with Pranab, and that whole idea was so foreign to me, and walking into that and getting that level of understanding was just so much fun. And I think we had a little bit of fun with it at the end. I love the whole journey to Jana that we talked about at the end of that episode. I think that's a really fun.
It's worth a listen. It's definitely worth a listen.
100%. And then talking with Mel about Alethea, I mean, that episode got real deep, but it doesn't get to the point to where anything was uncomfortable. Like, I felt super safe, super fun. But I mean, the level of patience that she has when talking about that, and the level of depth that she can go to, and when she starts talking about unfolding, fuck, like I'm going back now, and I'm like, I'm gonna go re-listen to that later today. Like, that was incredible.
Oh man, she had something about, we see self-improvement as this ladder and staircase that we have to constantly build because we're not good enough, and just trying to think of it as unfolding an onion and saying, what if we're already enough? What if we're everything we ever wanted to be already? And let's think about these ways we can unfold into ourselves instead of thinking we have to keep improving. Okay, well, we could probably do that forever because there's so many people we haven't even mentioned. But the point, I think, is that we've had really wonderful conversations. I've had some really beautiful moments, but across kind of a spectrum of conversations and backgrounds, and it's what we hope to continue to do. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I think I would vibe with you guys and have really interesting things, hit us up as well. And thank you for taking time to listen to a short little introductory episode. And we hope you love it the same way that Andrew and I love it. Andrew, do you have any last thoughts for our introductory listener listening to the first ever episode?
No, I'm just excited for them to get on the bus with us, man. Stick your thumb out, hop on, let's go for a ride and see what happens.
Hitchhike with us. I love it. This is great. Thank you so much, Andrew, for jumping on and doing this real quick. And we hope that whoever out there is listening to any of it, that enjoy what you hear.